Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Sophie Erber. More Woodbury County residents will soon be able to get vaccinated against COVID-19. Siouxland District Health today announcing registration for their next clinic will open up this Thursday. And we have the details now in our top story at 5. The vaccination clinic is set for Wednesday, February 24th at the Tyson Event Center, but registration is necessary if you'd like to reserve your spot. Registration again opens this Thursday, that's February 18th at 3 p.m. So you can register online or by calling the number on your screen, 712-234-3922. Now, the groups eligible to receive this vaccine are Phase 1A and Phase 1B Tier 1. So that includes Woodbury County residents 65 and older, as well as first responders, teachers, and child care workers. Again, that number to call is 712-234-3922. You can find all this information again and a link to submit your registration right now on our website. That's SiouxlandProud.com. Grocery store and food production employees have seen arguably the worst part of the pandemic, but still have yet to receive their first dose of vaccine. Tyler Brock with Siouxland District Health says it could be weeks until more vaccine arrives for the next tier. Currently, Woodbury County is vaccinating Tier 1 on their Phase B list. Food production workers fall into Tier 2.
And we're also working on our people that are 65 years of age and older. And that's a pretty big group. Again, between Tier 1 and our 65 and older population, we're looking at over 20,000 people in Woodbury County.
Now, other states such as Illinois have already administered their first doses to people working in the food processing industries, but Brock says that is largely due to the different rollout plans per state guidelines, as well as our region experiencing a shortage of vaccine. And we have an alert tonight from the CDC urging people not to take any kind of pain relievers like Tylenol or Motrin before getting their vaccination. Sometimes people will take pain medication preemptively in anticipation of discomfort before an injection, but researchers say they don't yet know how those pills could interact with the COVID vaccine. There's a concern that painkillers could dampen the body's immune response. But the CDC does allow for anti-inflammatory drugs to be taken after vaccination if needed. South Sioux City police tonight are investigating a shooting incident. It happened this morning. They learned a 33-year-old man is being treated for a gunshot wound. He's currently at Mercy One Hospital. Now, police say that two people on their way to work found the victim near the road. That was on the 500 block of East 20th Street in South Sioux City. They took him to the hospital where he soon went into surgery. And students at Perry Creek Elementary School went home early today. This after a pipe within the school burst because of the extreme cold. Fire crews were called to the scene around 12:45 in the afternoon. The kids were gathered in the school gym while parents were contacted to pick up their children. School officials tell us that the area has already been cleaned up tonight. School will be held tomorrow as usual. A second day of Arctic temperatures has prompted rolling blackouts, as we know. That continues across the country and here in Siouxland. The Nebraska Public Power District urging electric customers to conserve as much energy as possible. They say outages could last anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. And coming up tonight at 10, KCAU 9's Lydia Vasquez explains how it's impacting some Siouxlanders. This week, the Department of Homeland Security will begin processing thousands of asylum seekers. KCAU 9's Anna Warnicki reports on how the administration plans to do it safely amid a pandemic.
Sarah Pierce with the Migrant Policy Institute says since 2019, anyone seeking asylum at the southern border had to wait in Mexico while their court case processed.
Many of them are waiting in shelters or very insecure accommodations. They've had a lot of problems with criminal organizations.
Starting Friday, the White House says the 25,000 asylum seekers with active cases will now be allowed to cross the border. But Pierce says doing so safely in the midst of a pandemic and COVID-19 border restrictions won't be easy.
We can only process so many people while keeping both those foreign nationals safe and the U.S. government staff.
The Department of Homeland Security plans to process roughly 300 people per day at 3 ports of entry. Eligible asylum seekers will first be required to register online or by phone and then test negative for COVID-19.
You have just an open border.
Todd Bensman with the Center for Immigration Studies says the policy change will invite a surge at the southern border.
Large numbers of migrants from Central America and really from throughout the entire world have heard about these policies and understand that it means they can get into the United States and stay forever.
But the White House says that isn't part of the plan.
This news should not be interpreted as an opening for people to migrate irregularly to the United States.
DHS says the process will be gradual and could take months. In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki, KCAU 9 News.
U.S. Senator Joni Ernst is bringing her 99-county tour to Siouxland this week. The second-term Republican senator making several stops across the area that included here at KCAU 9 News. Our Tim Seaman sat down with the senator to discuss recent events in Washington, D.C., as well as issues that are important to all Iowans. We'll share what she had to say coming up tonight on your KCAU 9 News at 6. The city of Sioux City is looking to amateur artists to beautify West 7th Street tonight. Artists of all backgrounds are encouraged to present a proposal for a mural. The art will be displayed at 4 different locations downtown. Artists may submit proposed murals for up to 2 locations. The facade improvement project has been long underway. It actually began back in 2014. And Sioux City is gaining another Italian restaurant starting tonight. Our first Fazoli's is now officially open. The restaurant chain serves pizza, pasta, and subs. Diners can find it in the old Pizza Hut building on Singing Hills Boulevard. That's right across from Walmart. And it's time tonight for our first check on the weather. Meteorologist Marcus Beasley standing by. Marcus, I hear we might have broken another record today.
Yeah, another record falling today. Again this morning. Record low temperatures here throughout Siouxland. And again, we really did not warm up too much. Temperatures all day long below 0 degrees. -2 was our high temperature today in Sioux City. -2 as well in Lamar's, Wayne, and Norfolk at 1 below 0 today. A high of 1 in Cherokee, so getting above the 0 mark there. But 0 degrees in Spencer and Yankton today. Overnight tonight, temperatures, they're really not going to fall off too much. Around 6 degrees below 0 expected in Sioux City tonight. That's all thanks to some clouds moving in. We are still going to see wind chill advisories, though, until 8 a.m. Wednesday morning for much of southwestern Siouxland. It does look like wind chills there could drop down to around 25 to 30 below 0. That's the wind chill value. It does look like a warming trend here in the forecast and maybe a little bit of snow as well. More details on all of that in the 9 on 9. Sophie?
All right, thanks a lot, Marcus. The pandemic has been a headache, literally, for some of us. Doctors at the Cleveland Clinic tonight say the daily stress we're feeling over coronavirus can cause our heads to pound. That stress can come from employment, financial, or childcare issues. Taking in too much COVID-19 related content online is also linked to this increase. Now, doctors recommend unplugging and limiting your intake of COVID-19 news to about 20 minutes each day. Taking a walk outdoors, meditation, or yoga can also help you relieve a little stress. Poor sleep quality can also lead to headaches, so doctors say that turning off your electronics in the evening can start to help calm your mind. We've known for a while now that COVID-19 symptoms include a change or loss completely of smell. But many question, how long does that symptom last? A new study provides some more answers. ABC's Faith Abube explains.
Will the loss of smell from COVID-19 ever come back? A team of European researchers followed more than 2,500 people with COVID-19 to find the answer. And what they found is that the ability to smell was recovered by 2 months in a majority of study participants. The average length of recovery was about 3 weeks, and COVID-19 associated loss of smell was most common among those with mild COVID-19. Mild COVID-19 simply meant the patient did not have to be hospitalized and could stay home and quarantine. The study also found that it's more uncommon for those with severe COVID-19 requiring hospitalization to experience loss of smell. It's still unclear why a loss of smell occurs with COVID-19. With a common cold, nasal congestion is a common cause of loss of smell. Yet COVID-19 does not always cause nasal congestion. So researchers continue to work to determine how the virus plays a role in affecting our ability to smell. With this Medical Minute, I'm Faith Abube, ABC News.
Denzel Mosman of Wakefield, Nebraska is just one of several hundred World War II veterans still alive who survived D-Day, that number dwindling. And we are honoring his service this week in our new Veterans Voices series. KCAU 9 News reporter Hannah Adamson brings us his unique story coming up tonight at 10. Winter sports can sometimes be life-threatening, as we know, and that, as Mother Nature, can be very hard to predict. We have the story of one very lucky snowboarder coming up.
And today was another frigid day throughout Siouxland. Light snow possible overnight tonight. It does look like warmer days are ahead, though. Details on all of that after the break.
You're watching KCAU 9 News with Sophie Erber and meteorologist Marcus Beasley. This is KCAU 9 News at 5.
Thanks for sticking with us. One of those days that I am thankful to be indoors because outside it's a whole nother story. We broke another record, but we did see a little bit of sun today.
A little bit, but now clouds are moving in, and actually the clouds are going to be good tonight. That's going to keep temperatures. Yeah, it's going to keep temperatures from dropping really far down below zero tonight. So we're not going to see those temperatures really plummet. They'll drop a few degrees, but for the most part, it should stay relatively consistent temperature-wise here throughout Siouxland from day to night. But we did break another record this morning, the record from 1936. Again, another one from 1936, negative 25 degrees falling this morning. We hit 28 below zero again. So that's 2 nights in a row of 28 degrees below zero. And again, the coldest date ever recorded in Sioux City was January 12th, 1912, of 35 degrees below zero. I think that record's safe, at least for now, here in Siouxland. We're not, at least in the near future. It's going to feel very warm compared to the weather we have seen. And here's a picture sent to us from Dawn Tucker in Pierce, Nebraska, Willow Creek Park. A beautiful sunset there with that snow on the ground. If you have any photos to send our way, go to SiouxlandProud.com, click on the weather tab, drop down to send us your photos, and upload some pictures to our online gallery. We'll use some on air.
All right, beautiful shot you caught there.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks a lot, Marcus. Well, what is your ideal wedding venue? For one couple, the perfect place to tie the knot also happened to be their favorite coffee spot. How they pulled off their drive-through vows, that story coming up. But first, while having fun snowboarding in Colorado, one man's mission quickly became surviving an avalanche. How he did it, next.
Are you a veteran with a story that you'd like to share? Well, each week, KCAU 9 is featuring veterans sharing their stories on Veterans Voices. A salute to Siouxland veterans.
For more information, contact us at veteransvoices@kcautv.com.
Menards has it.
Welcome back. Cold temps aren't the only danger looming in the outdoors lately. For people who enjoy snow sports, there's a considerable danger in avalanches looming now in the state of Colorado, too. A lesson learned the hard way for one snowboarder. Let's hear this story of survival.
This picture shows how widespread the avalanche was north of Loveland past Sunday. It's where a backcountry snowboarder was buried and killed. Soon afterwards, the Alpine Rescue Team began a search. Avalanches this year, they say, are more dangerous.
That they're extremely large. So this was several hundred feet across, maybe up to 800 feet across, which is a huge slide for us to find a needle in that haystack.
It was part of an avalanche airbag like this one, protruding from the snow that helped the team make the find. It's the same type of airbag that helped this snowboarder survive last month in the same general area. Over the East Vale backcountry, yet another snowboarder survived an avalanche. An avalon and a transceiver beacon helped a companion find him. The avalon helps a skier breathe under snow. The Avalanche Information Center recommends backcountry users check the avalanche forecast. But even with warnings, there's no agency set up to prevent people from going into those danger zones.
I certainly think that there's groups out there that at times would do that, but I'm not sure if we've reached one of those times, even though we are seeing a lot of people get injured and killed in avalanches this year.
The center stresses there are many safe places in the backcountry to enjoy, places filled with stunning beauty and unpredictable dangers.
Well, many people have a love of coffee. I'm one of them. But for one couple, their love was so strong, it just had to be part of their wedding. Along with a donut bouquet, of course. We'll explain their story next. Of all the places to get married, the drive-thru might seem like any bride's last resort. But for Selena Stalmer, it was the first request she made to her fiancé. Stephanie Rivas shows us how they pulled it off.
Do you promise to dedicate yourself to Selena, to love and care and cherish her through life's joys and sorrows for all the days of your life?
Don't do it. I Duncan do.
When Selena Stallmer asked her fiancé Brian Dinsmore if he would get married at a Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru, he wasn't sure what to say.
Initially, it was a shocker to me, and I'm like, you know, this is different, especially with the year we've had with Corona and all that.
They had a big family wedding planned for June, but 2 weeks ago they decided to postpone.
So we were kind of bummed that, we weren't getting married this year, and then it was like a sign.
Selena was scrolling through Facebook when she actually saw a post from us, News 10, saying that her favorite coffee franchise was holding a contest for a free wedding.
I was like, oh my God, we should do it.
Well, it turns out Dunkin' Donuts thought they should do it too because they chose Selena and Brian as one of only 2 contest winners in all of New York State.
I mean, I've gotten to the point where just by my voice, my order, they know who I am. Or
Me too.
Selena and Brian are both essential workers, and they say going to Dunkin' in the morning has brought them a little bit of normalcy during a crazy time.
A couple times they've actually predicted my order, and I'm like, oh, you know me.
Needless to say, it didn't take much to get Brian on board.
You know, different's better.
Yeah, just getting married in a drive-thru.
So with a donut bouquet and a munchkin for a boutonniere, the giddy couple is pulling up. And making it official with a traditional kiss.
You may now kiss.
And their go-to Dunkin' orders.
Now that is unique. Taking a live look outside right now, Marcus returns with one more check on your forecast. Coming up, stay with us. Before wrapping up at 5, let's check in first with Tim for what's coming up at 6. Hi, Tim.
Hello, good afternoon, Sophie. As you mentioned earlier, Iowa Senator Joni Ernst was in our studios earlier today. Coming up at 6, you'll have a chance to hear what we talked about in part, including the most recent events in Washington on January 6th. Again, that's coming up at 6. Also, after World News tonight, bitter cold means rolling back blackouts for some Nebraskans. KCAU 9 reporter Lydia Vasquez is just back with talking with a family preparing for those rolling blackouts and the power to go out, why they're concerned coming up. And most of us, of course, have tried to limit our time outdoors. Coming up at 6, we'll introduce you to the exception. He's a man who's got a career that has brought him a love of lawns and waterfalls. Yes, in the winter. Just how he's keeping this makeshift waterfall from freezing over in these cold days. And of course, the state wrestling tournament gets started later this week. In sports, Jake profiles a couple of our area grapplers looking to do great things in Des Moines. That's all at 6.
Some really good ones there. Looking forward to that. Thanks a lot, Tim. And I, too, this weather's a little bit too cold for me, but I'm also into winter hikes and looking for those frozen waterfalls. Sometimes they're even cooler than in the summer. You will have another chance, I hear, to do some sub-zero hikes if that's what you're into.
That's right. It is looking like tonight will stay below 0 degrees. Well, it looks like we'll see a little bit of snow move in late tonight and into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow will warm up a little bit more to around 12 degrees, so a little bit of relief in the forecast.
All right. Thanks, Marcus. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 6. And until then, have a great night.